y'all.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Y'all to put it all on the table today.
This is Carlos from Generation Hustle. This is Dylan, Daryl, and we have a special guest, Leah Coleman.
They
she's
tell
already
me
doing
to
the
get
generation.
Generation. Oh my god.
All right, so we have a special guest, Leah Coleman. I met her maybe about 2-3 years ago. I feel like most of us have probably met
You
her
didn't meet me. You were
early on.
postured by me at the front door. Tell the real story.
We met her, I feel like, honestly, early on in our investing career, just us being part of real estate, because she is everywhere and nowhere at the same time. She's like she's all over the place.
Sneak in the back door of
She
places, and I just kind of pop in.
She runs
like
all
I flew a
kinds of
magic
stuff.
carpet in there.
You're an agent. That's probably first and foremost.
Yeah.
You're head of Boss
Since
Babes.
2010.
You're a designer.
Since 2020.
You're doing a bunch of stuff. So if you don't mind,
Thank you.
introduce yourself. Let everybody know.
Hi, everybody. Hey, Richmond and beyond. Hey, people. Hey, to some of my people that may be watching this too. First of all, thank you all for having me.
Of course.
I love meeting like-minded people. Sorry to call you out like that, my brother.
Oh.
But I am a realtor that will get to the bottom of things real fast. And so if you come on our projects, I'm going to make sure we know who you are and why you're coming on the scene. And y'all, this is really how I met Carlos. But the magic of it is we all help one another, right?
Yep.
Like, so I think the best part of what I see you guys doing too, so I just want to give some kudos and definitely some kudos to you all. And the culture that you're building it is collaborative. It's a collaborative culture instead of being so competitive, because I think all of us can agree that what we realize is there's enough out here for everybody to have
Absolutely.
a piece of the pie.
Yeah.
And then doing more collaborative real estate the way we've all learned in different spheres. And I love it that you're in like some of the same coaching like programs that I'm in and stuff too. Even though I engage sometimes and don't.
Yeah.
You could tell that I have a lot going on. So, and then when you're a mom and parents, I know that was one of the other topics that you thought that we should bring up too. So when you're a mom, listen, the number one priority is them over the work.
Yeah, for sure.
So I realized when I had her in 2015, that, and she wasn't an easy pregnancy. So I am a cervical cancer survivor, from a long, long time ago. And so I was someone that the prognosis would be that like miscarriages would be like a trend. So, I'm sharing a good story with my guy friends because, whether you know a lot about women's health or like I know a couple of you are married and I know you have some insignificant, especially me too. There's different parts about like how you can support the females in your life.
Yeah.
So when Chuck and I first got married, it was really all about me helping support him with his pest control business. So he'd been doing pest control for Orkin like 7 years or so prior to going out on his own, and he recognized at that time, the best position for a pest control business operator was to like specialize in some of the organic and chemical conscious way of doing things. He saw that was like the way like the industry was headed.
And
so that's what
focuses on now,
so it caused him to just really take a pivot. So both of us actually started our business self-employed work life, if you will, like bootstrap from nothing. We did not have parents with like, a lot of assistance at the time. He had also lost his mom and we had just gotten married. So I really, my goal was to just help him, get like his business like kind of up and going. So I worked for and with him for the first few years while I carried Presley as a high risk pregnancy, while we also lost a couple of pregnancies too. And I just had to let my body heal. And so even though I continued to stay in real estate, so I've been licensed since 2010, it's really been mostly part-time. Until I could get her in preschool, which then 2018 came around. She was like waitlisted. You know how this waitlist life is.
Yeah.
Children.
Oh my God.
If y'all need some support, we got moms everywhere in the land.
Light a candle.
In fact, in fact, I was thinking to myself, I was like, do I need to start like a mom hustler community? Because I seriously, back in the day, Lori's been one of my clients. You all know her. She was best friends with my little sister since high school. So I've known her since she was like 14. So it wasn't until we recircled back in her adult life that we, were able to like follow kind of a similar passion and track. So we literally took the little ones everywhere. Like we have pictures of us with all the children, with our assistants, and they were the assistants. And we didn't care. Like we had to do what you had to do. But yeah, I would say that like for you to be generational hustle, I totally identify with that. Although I feel like where we're at is killing that the hustle actually has to be the hustle, that you can't rest in between your sprints.
Oh, of course.
Do you know what I mean? So like it's like hustle culture is really popular and it gets lots of glory. But part of my story too is like I dealt with burnout.
Yeah.
You know, like
big,
there's a lot that's going on. And so I think that like it's also important to like in between, you know, your projects to give yourselves like time to just like catch your breath.
Focus on yourself.
Yes. And that, with that being said, in 2018, remember I told you that was right when Presley went into preschool.
Yeah.
It was also the year that there was a founder of Boss Babes RVH, so it was just a private Facebook group. That was like back when that feature just hit that platform. And you don't know, you try new features, it's like MySpace, like which is like gone now, and like all these like different ones and different platforms. You don't know what's gonna try. Well, she needed to have like a nice little network for her business, and she was like bootstrapping a wonderful, which now is, you know, really she's building an empire of her own with her family, but bridal business and wedding planning. So that was like what her staple
she
was.
Started that as Boss
So she
Babes.
started that
and then
with,
you took that
with Boss
over.
Babes. Yeah, and then like in 2018 she was feeling like the 4 to 5 year pinch of like needing to really focus on her business full time, with leaving, you know, it was just a Facebook group. Like I literally remember getting the documents and they were saying, okay, do you want to run this, you know, and send us a Google Doc? And I just laugh because I feel like the millennial culture, they also call me president, and I'm expecting it to be like, you know, this formalized like entity, and I'm like, is it a nonprofit? Like I seriously was so lost, and I found out it was a Facebook group, and I was like, oh, then I must do presidential things, and I literally had to like, I literally had to like go into it like it was like something that I felt like I was called to, and I really do feel like that. So
what was the idea behind Boss Babes? Like, how did that come
that it would be
up?
a network. So she started for a network to build her business with her mom, and she wanted to niche it especially for just like females, because her business primarily would target females. That was like her target audience, and so she's let it to be like a business for women.
And you saw that as a perfect opportunity for your real estate venture, and then also to empower women,
and
both at the same time.
Yeah, and the other thing too, like when you're studying real estate, you guys are all hearing the statistics, right, about like how like women are the sector that are like buying houses right now and rising in their careers and starting businesses. So that's another thing. Businesses are being started more by women now. Like it's so interesting just the way the gender is coming
and us
forward.
having daughters, we're even
I know.
more
We both,
hoping that
you have one, I have two. Like he's gonna have 4 daughters.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all gonna have a bunch of girls.
So we want to empower them.
And it's great to see, and I mean, kudos to it, because like whatever I can do to encourage my wife, because it's a lot of times like it's not something I can do, because like my encouragement is very different. Because I'm gonna rag on you, but I can't rag on my wife. You know, like it's different.
Or your daughter,
You get brought
can't
up
rag
differently.
on them. Just
That's
like
right.
encourage them.
Yeah.
So is Boss Babes, is it mostly real estate oriented, or is it entrepreneurship, or is it kind of just...
It's really a private Facebook group that's meant to help women hone in on like whatever career path they're on or business. And then there's like a sector of students and stuff too. So when I took it over in that year, it was 4,500 members, and then I had to help kind of put like a leadership team together. I did get a couple of people that still worked with her to like help admin and moderate the group, which I know you all are a part of, like some of the bigger Facebook groups that we're all a part of. Like, so you see how somebody can take one and like really curate a very, you know, super niche content that is highly engaging for a whole community. And then like, it's basically been a huge backbone for Jim and like all of his national, you know, contacts. You think about all the people that he's met and how he's brought people, you know, from all over the country in and out of Richmond to help like propel everybody forward. So
if you said you had 4 wheels, right? So you have family on your car, you have family, and then what are the other 3 wheels that would define like Leah?
Well,
because I don't want to define you, but I know that.
I love, so my 2 favorite topics are actually real estate and Jesus. which a lot of people might see that I post scriptures and stuff.
Yeah.
But I really feel like God has a purpose to everything that we're doing. I really feel like this generation is a curse-breaking generation. I really feel that based on the history of this nation and this area, that a lot of the ancestral things that happened before we were born are things that not everybody loves the history of anymore. And I feel like we're the generation that, because it may or may not have been as close to us, I mean, it could have been our grandparents, so on and so forth, that were affected by some of the things. But then at the same time, you look at the history of the U.S. and it's been one of the biggest industrialized, innovative countries in the world. Does not rank up with Dubai.
Yeah.
Hello, there's some ahead of us. But I'm just saying, like, we're a generation that sees possibility in future and, like, may or may not want to see the patterns of, like, our family bloodlines continue to be repeated. So we're breaking, like, the back of poverty off of our bloodlines. There's lots of first generation wealth building happening right now, and I believe we're also a part of the greatest wealth transfer of our days. And it's really important that we do have a collaborative culture so that we can have the accountability that we need, have the support we need, have the learning ability to share. I mean, I have some cool stories about some of your favorite people. And they're all guys, because in our industry, like, mainly women are not as in the forefront. I mean, men have pretty much kind of run real estate circles
I feel like
and run
that's
a lot of that.
changing.
And that's changing with
Crazy.
this current
Crazy.
moment, I think. And what's interesting, if you're familiar with or not familiar with the #1 best-selling book in the world, which is the Bible, in Proverbs 31, there's this whole passage, I think it starts from like verse 10, where it goes through the virtuous woman, and it defines like who she is. And it's so interesting because the gender role of the woman is actually, she's the one that's doing all the clothes, the household management. She's also the one that's like identifying the land and buying it. It is so interesting how, like, these things were established before time, and they've been written. And so now, don't get mad. I'm here to tell you, like a mic drop, ladies, don't get mad when honey wants to shop and spend your coins.
Yes.
Just know that, like, she was born to steward these things, really. And so, you know, it might have to do with her background and some habits and behaviors and things that might impact it. Like, not gonna lie, that, you know, real estate stresses me the F out. Like, I love Jesus, but I drop the F-bomb all the time. I don't think that, like, just because I use a cuss word that, like, that's gonna put a curse on me. Like, there's different, like, there's different teachings and stuff that's out here. I don't believe that. I believe that, like, there's a lot to do with slang, and it's patterns of expression. And if I would eat my fucking feelings and tell you today that Jesus gives a fuck, then I am going to tell it, and I'll write the fucking book too.
Yeah.
And I, you know, some people that are religious might have issues with me talking like that, but I'm telling you, like, sometimes people just don't understand that you don't get a point across unless you say something to, like, bring somebody to a moment of attention. And being female, it's you don't even want to know the stuff that we get in this business. I just called a PI. Had him on the phone with me the whole time. I met a male who had not identified to go to a house or show my own listing. Why? Because we're in 2022 and realtors get killed.
Yeah.
You know, and people stalk us online.
Ridiculous.
And, you know, so you just don't know. I mean, you just got to do stuff to protect yourself, and you got to posture people. You got to do stuff to protect yourself, and you have to posture people, like, so meeting you and posturing you at the front door, I do that everywhere I go. So you will be the only one that I'll have a story with that. You know, but people walk up on our jobs, like, when we're, like, by ourselves and stuff in a house. I mean, nobody's coming behind me.
And to be honest,
I do love Jesus.
Our
Lord,
platform,
forgive me for anyone that I would have offended.
Our platform is being shared. Our platform does get viewed, but I think that having more stories, like genuine stories, that's the type of stuff that I don't think I think about at all, right? Like, sometimes I think maybe I should, like, carry something to, like, but, like, I don't know.
Well, imagine
it's just
getting
like
married
really
and, like,
situation.
Chuck's from Highland Park, all right? So Chuck's from Highland Park. So he grew up in the time when that neighborhood had a extremely high level of crime.
Yes.
So, yeah, imagine him marrying someone and finding out his wife's, her neighborhood she likes to work in is there. And I remember telling him when we were first dating, I said, oh, can you go by this address and check my sign? I keep hearing rumor that somebody keeps taking my sign down over there. So he'll be on his pest route and just be everywhere. So he did that, and I'll never forget. He came home that night and he goes, I don't want you over there and that work in that neighborhood. And I was like, I don't get to really discriminate what neighborhoods I get to work in, because when people need my help, I go, and I do feel safe where I'm at. And he goes, there's bullet shells like literally right all over the sidewalks today when I went by there. And yes, your sign was down. So these are the, we have to be armored. And I feel like also my connection with God is, I feel that because I also know the word of God, so that the angels have gone and prepared the way, that's also a way for me to feel protected and know that I'm protected. And I just think we just need to be wise. But I feel God in every bit of the work that I do. And so I let him put me up to all kinds of random stuff. So I feel like the surface of the Boss Babes community is just getting, like, I'm just scratching the surface of it. So now we have over 10,000 members. It's pretty much a small army, and I'm just now learning how to like curate it better. I have an awesome moderator admin team of volunteer business owners too. We have like an attorney, an insurance brokerage, an HR person, a massage parlor owner, a fashion boutique owner, marketing company owner, and another real estate person.
I feel like we have a lot
well.
of people we can tap into.
So
Oh yeah.
I'm telling
That's crazy.
you,
That's awesome. That's
Mayor
really
Stoney, if you catch this, which I see in the coffee shops everywhere in Mutha, you think you're running this. You think you're running the city, but I'm telling you, we're running. We're running the
So I know that you don't have much longer. So I wanted to get just a quick market insight. It's early October. What's your thoughts on like the weeks prior, months prior? Things have changed, weeks forward, months forward.
So I will tell you that when you are busy doing the right things, you do not get lost in the minutia of the paralysis of analysis of every week. I don't even log into my database every day. I'm so tired of the media. I'm so tired of what the numbers tell me. When somebody called me today, when she was like, I've lost escrow on like this one house or property 6 times, and she's telling me all this, and she goes, I just get discouraged and depressed because it keeps happening. I said, well, you need to change your mindset and visualize that you are going to get the bag, the whole bag, and it's coming to you within a certain time.
There we go.
And she goes, oh my God, you're right. And I said, well, how do you think I get it? How do you think I get the bag? And I said, your mindset, you really do have to focus on that. So if I were to encourage anybody in today's market, it would be that. I'd also encourage you with this really basic, simple formula. If the rates today are 6-7% or whatever you have access to pay that is better than paying 100% rent.
Agreed.
So we must own. And then as you own one, I always tell even my first time buyer clients, I'm like, this is not the end of our relationship. I'm going to help you build all your retirement stuff, strategy through real estate. Like and sometimes they look at me like, she crazy. I'm just trying to get this one. Yeah, they're like, I'm just trying to get this one. Like,
buy more houses.
Yeah,
no,
I'm not trying to sell you.
I'm
I'm just really trying to tell you, like, I'm going to help you with the first one, and we're going to put you on a track for the next. And whether I'm your realtor now and then or whatever, we're going to stay in touch, and you will be taken care of. And it's going to be, you're going to be on a track to growing. So, they really appreciate that. So, and then the other thing that I'm passionate about, so you were saying like what buckets, so real estate, and I invest, so I buy and sell and renovate a few a year myself as well. Nice. My favorites are tiny cottages. Yes. So when no one in your sphere wants to buy the 1 or 2 bedroom, those are just my favorite. And I take Presley on them, and we host our guests together. So a lot of them Airbnb. And I just want to keep doing more of those. I'm also, through Boss Babes, inspired by a lot of the Airbnb research and the glamping trend that's out. And there's not been that brought to the region, so I'm hosting the first glamping retreat for Boss Babes this weekend.
Where at?
And personal and business development has been like a part of like my journey too. So I feel like every successful person must continue to learn, must continue to grow. I'm constantly working harder on myself than anybody around me. I give grace. I let people be themselves. Like, you're gonna mess up sometimes, like whatever. Like, it's just a part of life. And you should stay encouraged. You should learn to encourage yourself. So, I mean, and some of you call me once in a while and just feel like you need to brainstorm stuff. Like, I like to be there brainstorming with my people, because if my perspective is different,
Yep.
and your head or your heart was in your feelings, or you were upset because you weren't having a good outcome, then we need to course correct. We need to like be like the GPS for one another. That's like, okay, reroute, or just redirect. You know, redirect your attention and your energy into a different lane. So you have to have profitable outcomes.
Yeah.
And you have to believe that every time you get a chance to apply yourself, that you will. And I mean, everything in real estate is a calculated risk.
Everything.
So that's what I say about a shifting market. Like whatever the opportunity is, just calculate your risk, do the analysis on it. If you still want to paralyze yourself with the analysis, you know, go ahead. But like just some stuff you might pay more for right now, but like just like all the landlords now that are retiring, that are ready to sell their portfolios to people like us, right, who are like ready to go.
Yeah.
You know, it's, if you buy something a little high, like hold it. Mm-hmm. It ain't the end of the world.
Yeah.
Hi, I'll pay top dollar. I won a bidding war earlier this year, and I couldn't believe that I had to do it. And somebody said, "Well, I found out that the bidder was you, so I backed out." My buyer. I said, "Good."
What was used?
She found out that the bidding war was me. That she was.
So
She said the wholesaler was literally texting you. Her bidding, and I said, "Well, cool." I kept telling her, "I want it. Tell me where the bid's at. Tell me where the bid's at. I can't get there. Tell me where the bid's at." And guess what I had to do? I had to go deal with pandemic roots. And I couldn't reschedule my appointment to come, so I was like, I'm going to send my contractor. So I still won a bidding war while I was getting my roots done in the salon.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
And guess what? She was a mom. She was a mother hustler in Washington. And that's the other thing that's been mind-blowing, guys. The wholesaling strategy. People are coming into our market. They know what's happening here. And they're taking stuff right out from under the locals' noses and just making their money. So why can't that be you? Why can't that be a friend of ours that we could train to help them make some more money? Some extra money. So
I bought a few.
I'm ready to build a whole street team of wholesalers, to be honest, because
just beat the pavement.
honestly, I can build the confidence of anybody, and I feel like the confidence of people is what like stops them in their tracks and makes them quit. So I'm gonna send them all to come get their pep talk from Leah Coleman. Right at a table like this. I'm gonna train y'all to be a whole fleet of housing specialists.
Everybody's coming out.
Yeah. And I also started noticing a really interesting trend with the wholesale community. And I want to say this because I'm just like real and I believe in keeping it 100. Because we talk about the problems of our day, the different wealth gap issues that we see with the different races and the cultures and stuff. It doesn't have to be the same story though today, you know, but what I started to notice was the majority of the wholesalers that were winning were black. And guess who they were selling to? The white people. Buying. And so I started boldly talking to them. I said, "You're gonna sell," and what color am I? But I'm also female. So I started saying, stop selling them to every same person. And I don't say any of that to my Caucasian friends to offend us, because we know we can talk about these things. But being in a biracial relationship and seeing all the things with all the plights with a front row seat, like it's stuff that's a part of my life that I see, and I'm just like, you know what? We can help one another better do this. And they don't even need to be taking their grandmother's houses and selling them. We should just say, like, I look back at them sometimes, I'm like, let me help you buy this yourself. Like, let's figure out a way for you to buy this and keep this. You to figure out a way to keep this. You don't need to wholesale it to me today. You know? So I think that, like, I'm a sales girl, but I'm not really sales. I just love to educate people and keep them like
definitely
an opportunity,
like deeper roots,
minded and purpose driven.
The reason why you do things is definitely much deeper.
Yeah. And I did not call us Richmond Mafia. The girls that you know about, you know, in these streets. I did not give us that name. But apparently I'm part of her. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I felt like I had to call a banker all the way up the line.
In Texas, that was being screamed in California like a week ago.
Richmond Mafia?
Richmond Mafia. Did you not hear it?
No.
They're better than me.
I'm not a part of it. So anyway, now that we put that on the table,
Yeah.
what else you want to talk about? It's time for me to go. For
I don't want to slow you down. Yeah, I don't want to slow you
That's
down.
all right. No, and so that's the thing. When you're mother hustling, you've got time to pit stop,
Yeah.
do a podcast really quick,
Yeah.
and you got to bounce to get the
Yeah.
little one. But I just want to encourage everyone with, the other thing too is if you are in a place where your strategy, where you're like questioning your strategy or you're thinking about going in like a different direction, put the research into it and grab yourself an extra class to learn about it, or find somebody that is doing what you want to do, whether they're here or you stalk them online and they're out of state and you make a nice friendship and go see their project, fly out to them, go see their project. The co-working scene has been really big here in the past decade, but it was one of my case studies back in 2009 and 2010, and so I had a micro little co-working space that was for women only before all these big ones came about. But that's what I do. I would look up things, research them, and lay it out and figure out what I wanted to do and how I wanted to monetize.
Yeah.
And I also think that we have a duty to help our friends and family know how to better monetize themselves.
Yeah.
So I think that another really productive thing that we could be doing is being intentional about having a family meeting. If you don't have a family meeting in your family, let God put you up to that. And have conversations with your friends and family about having a family meeting, and just saying, because it's it's a serious topic. Because there's people out here really struggling, and they're going to continue in the same habits that they've always been, and we don't need to be the ones that are bailing people out. I can call me when I can buy your house when you get behind on your mortgage payment. I don't want to. I mean, we need leads to continue to feed our business, because our business is, when you get in the investment arena, especially, right? You're it's distressed properties and distressed sellers that are the target market for your business model. But, to have to help friends and family after there's been something.
That was preventable.
That was preventable. Yeah. So I do think that we have inheritances that we need to protect, and and I also think that if you're not doing trust yet, and trust, that we get to raise trust fund babies. I didn't know them. I mean, rap songs sang about it. Hey. But I mean, I've never known anything about that life. So we're in a position where when we learn certain strategies, we can do it different. So just be thinking about that. So family is going to be over the top, number one. And let me tell you this fun fact, and then I'll head out. I almost named my little girl squad the Bad as a Mother community. And it's because I kept saying it. I was like, girl, you bad as a mother. But I would just find myself saying it, complimenting shoes and outfits and stuff. And then I was like, hold on, this is a mother thing. Why is all these moms around me working now? And then I looked up the slang meaning, and guess what it means? What? Someone who runs her territory. I said, shoot, I meant every word of that slang. And that's what we're sitting here doing.
That's appropriate.
So ladies, be bad as a mother, please. And run your town.
Bad as a mother.
Run your town. And challenge your husbands when they,
act a fool.
when they need ideas or support, or they have ideas that, need support,
Or they're not focused and they just need that extra little push to refocus.
Yeah, and if any of your wives need encouragement to deal with your mindset, I'll offer. You can send them to Leah Coleman's therapy session. Because, the other thing too is having supportive spouses or significant others, because sometimes we're just not all wired the same.
Yes.
So
Agreed.
Entrepreneurs can run marriages into the ground and then get married 2 or 3 times. I don't know if you've noticed that trend with entrepreneurship, but we have a tendency to marry the work, stay needed by the work that pulls us, and then before you know
always
it,
want more.
it's
more.
Yeah, and then there's so just challenge yourself in different seasons to allow yourself to be content and reassess and reevaluate. Those are going to be the value adds, and that's going to be how you make the power plays, you guys.
Nice.
So let God reposition you in this season, and let your women speak just as much as you do. We've got 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we're supposed to be doing twice as much listening. And I'm talking way too long. So I'm out! Hustle!
All right,
Hustle
we're
culture!
Leah Coleman, Generation.
Hey!